The sixth generation of Monster Hunter is finally here. Monster Hunter Wilds launches in just 4 days on February 28, 2025. I had the incredible opportunity to play the game early and experience everything it has to offer. Huge thanks to Capcom Europe for allowing me to explore this new world of hunting ahead of release. Before we get started, this review is based entirely on my personal experience, and don't worry, it's completely spoiler-free. I will not reveal anything Capcom hasn't already announced, so you can enjoy the full experience when the game drops. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peppo, and this is my review of Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is set in a distant land to the east, known as the Forbidden Lands. This region has been off limits for 1,000 years, and the guild believed it to be completely uninhabited. However, after rescuing a boy named Nata, who claims a powerful monster attacked his village and forced him to flee, the guild launches an investigation, and you take on the role of an elite hunter leading this expedition. Alongside your handler, Alma, the blacksmith, Gemma, and your Palico, you will explore this vast new world, uncover its villages and local inhabitants, and of course take on a wide variety of monsters. The game guides the player through the story in the early stages, and this time around the narrative has truly leveled up. The immersion is unmatched. I genuinely felt like part of the story, and every event is captivating and engaging. The seamless transitions between cutscenes and hunts, combined with the dynamic, ever-changing environments, make the experience even more immersive. Of course, there is no shortage of funny moments either, like your first meeting with the Woodwoods, the local lineants of the Scarlet Forest, or that unforgettable first encounter with Congalala, that stinky monkey. Cutscenes are well integrated throughout the playthrough, helping you better understand the unfolding events. There's also plenty of dialogue for those who love diving deep into the lore, but if story isn't your thing, you can always skip them and focus on what really matters, hunting down big monsters. As in previous titles, the game is divided into low rank and high rank. Low rank acts as a tutorial of sorts, guiding you through the game by introducing new mechanics and weapon combos while giving you time to familiarize yourself with the Forbidden Lands and its various locales. Of course, I played through the entire game with Longsword, no surprises there, and I had an amazing time hunting down any monster bold enough to challenge me. After all, we are playing as an elite hunter in this game. In this early phase, the focus is clearly on the story. You'll still be hunting monsters, of course, but the fights are relatively simple and don't demand too much effort. The early progression felt very much like a well-structured tutorial to ease players into the game's new mechanics. Overall, the early game progression felt well-paced. As you hunt new monsters, you unlock their armor and weapons, which can be crafted with just a few materials. Crafting new longswords as you advance feels satisfying and rewarding, especially when you finally forge that long time awaited elemental weapon to exploit a monster's weakness. At the end of the day, Monster Hunter Wilds stays true to the serious formula: hunt monsters, craft better gear, and take on even stronger monsters. However, that doesn't mean the game hasn't evolved. On the contrary, Wilds has refined and improved many mechanics from the past generations. One major change is the new wound system, which replaced Iceborne Clutch Claw tenderizing mechanic. In Wilds, you can weaken a monster's body part simply by repeatedly attacking them, creating wounds that you can then exploit for increased damage. You can also destroy a wound instantly using a Focus Strike, a powerful special attack that deals heavy damage when landing on wounds. To use it, you first need to enter Focus Mode, a new mechanic that allows you to precisely aim your attacks in any direction, making it much easier to land your hits. Another returning feature is the Scout Flies, but this time they strictly serve as navigational guides leading you to your objective. The old tracking system from Iceborne is gone. While you can still find monster tracks in the environment, they now just give you guild points and monster materials rather than helping you locate the monster. Monsters always appear on the map in Wilds, you don't have to track them down. Because of this, the monster research level system from Iceborne is no longer present, and all monster info becomes available in the monster field guide after defeating them once. The monster field guide itself is incredibly detailed. It provides info on every monster you have encountered, including the number of times you have hunted or captured it, habitats and useful hunting tips, breakable and severable parts including weak points, elemental and status weaknesses along with effective items and skills, material drops and their percentage rates. The guide is one of the best we have had in the series, though I do wish it included exact hit zone and elemental hit zone values, like in Sunbreak, rather than just numbers of stars. The slinger also makes a return, allowing you to shoot different types of ammo, which can be gathered from the environment or dropped by monsters when breaking their body parts. Notably, monsters no longer drop shinies during fights. Instead, breaking wounds or monster parts immediately grant you materials, so by the end of a hunt you'll still have a ton of resources, even without collecting shinies from the ground. Mantles from Iceborne are back as well. This time the Gilly Mantle is part of your essential tools, alongside the capture net, fishing rod, and BBQ grill. A small but useful improvement is that the UI now displays the remaining cooldown time for your mantles, as well as the duration of your active buffs above your HP bar. One of the most noticeable upgrades is the map, which now has a 3D perspective, making it much easier to tell whether a path leads up or down, an incredibly helpful addition when navigating these massive locales. As for crafting and equipment, there are few notable changes. Weapon stats now have an option to toggle between bloated and true attack values, which is a great addition for players who prefer to see the raw numbers. Also, Wilds introduces more armor customization. You can now craft both versions of a monster's armor set, regardless of your character's gender, giving you even more fashion options. Moving around vast areas like the Windward Plains or the Scarlet Forest has never been easier. Thanks to your bird-like companion, the Sacred, you can quickly travel across the map. But it's far more than just a mode of transportation. The Sacred can help you chase down monsters, rescue in dangerous situations, and even allow you to sharpen your weapon or heal while riding, a recommended strategy during intense battles. You can also use it to perform aerial attacks for quick mount, or even switch to your secondary weapon mid-fight. As you progress through the story, you'll be able to customize your Sacred by speaking with Nona, the younger sister of Isai from Kunafa village. You can change the color of its feathers, add a pattern, and even apply decorations to make it truly unique. For traveling long distances, fast travel is the best option. In Monster Hunter Wilds, each locale has a massive base camp where you can access essential facilities like the smithy, provision stockpile, and support desk. Additionally, you can set up pop-up camps in designated areas throughout each region. These camps act as fast travel points, and you can teleport to them at any time, even during a fight. Customization also extends to your pop-up camps. You can personalize each camp by changing the color of the tent, adding unique designs, and even decorating with camp gear to make it appear more special. The new mobility options in Monster Hunter Wilds makes the gathering and exploration experience smoother than ever. With the introduction of the Hook Slinger, collecting materials in the field is incredibly fast and convenient. You can even use it while riding your Sacred. This simple addition makes resource gathering feel more efficient and less of a chore. You also have access to a set of essential tools, including a fishing rod for catching fish, a capture net for snagging endemic life, and binoculars to observe your surroundings. And maybe even spot a monster's crown if you are lucky. Exploring this new world is more satisfying than ever, thanks to the game's dynamic environment. Wilds introduces a seasonal cycle with 3 distinct phases. Follow, a time when hungry predators roam in search of food. Inclemency, a period of harsh weather that alters the ecosystem. Plenty, a resource-rich season where life thrives. Each season dramatically changes the landscape, affecting available resources, endemic life, and even the monsters that appear. The freedom in Wilds extend to hunting as well. You can engage any monsters at will, and once you deal enough damage, it automatically starts a quest. After defeating it, you receive your rewards instantly, without interruptions, so you can jump straight into another hunt or continue exploring seamlessly. Monster Hunter Wilds introduces many new monsters alongside returning favorites. Among the early encounters we have Chematris, a brute wyvern with a long tail that it ignites by dragging along the ground, a visually striking and dangerous weapon. One of my biggest surprises was facing Lalabarina so early in the story. I wasn't expecting a fight to come up so soon, but it was better than I imagined. Congalala makes its return to the series, and if you have fought it before, it almost will feel familiar. It was such a good feeling to fight him again in 6th generation. Then there's Uduna, the apex predator of the Scarlet Forest, appearing only during the downpour. I didn't expect to enjoy this fight as much as I did, but it was a pleasant surprise, definitely more fun than it looks at first glance. Now Rompopolo is just weird. During battle it inflates its head, back and tail, which honestly makes it look better than when it's deflated and all flaccid. Definitely a disgusting monster. Nursilla returns from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and like Congalala, its moves are familiar to veteran hunters. But don't underestimate that pincer attack. It's extremely dangerous if you're not careful. Hirabami, a new Leviathan from the Ice Shard Cliffs, spends most of the fight airborne. I was expecting it to be a nightmare for melee weapons, but it turned out to be not that bad. There are plenty of ways to knock it down, and flash pods are a valid solution. Ajarakan, the fire monkey of the Oil Whale Basin, is aggressive but not quite Rajang level crazy. The fight is fast-paced, yet fair, with clear openings to land some massive counterattacks. Lastly, there's Nu Udra, the apex of the Oil Whale Basin, a gigantic octopus covered in oil silt. When enraged, it ignites the coating, making its attacks ferocious. This was by far my toughest fight early on, since some of its attacks are hard to read and it punishes mistakes quickly. Overall, I had an amazing time fighting these monsters with my longsword. Learning their attack patterns and landing perfect counters felt as satisfying as ever. That said, there was one thing I didn't enjoy as much: fighting large and small monsters together. The real problem isn't the small monsters themselves, but what happens after they die. Their corpses linger on the battlefield and hitting them drains your weapon sharpness. When there are too many, you can lose sharpness in just a few swings, which gets frustrating fast. I played Monster Hunter Wilds on PC with an RTX 4080 at 1440p, with DLSS set on quality and frame gen off, and the game looks absolutely stunning, especially during plenty in the Scarlet Forest or Sandy Plains. The level of detail, lighting, and atmosphere really bring the world to life. That said, I wasn't expecting it to be so demanding. I managed to hit a stable 60 FPS with ultra settings, ray tracing on high, and HDR enabled for most of my playthrough. However, in certain situations, for example during the downpour in the Scarlet Forest, I noticed the game was struggling maintaining a stable frame rate, which negatively impacted the experience. I also experienced some visual bugs in certain specific conditions, and a few interesting things happened as well. Like these: what exactly is my hunter doing here? On the bright side, performance is noticeably better than the open beta test from 2 weeks ago, so it's clear the devs have made optimizations. Still, I think there is some more work to be done to further polish the experience, especially in certain environments. That said, the visuals are breathtaking, and I can't wait to see how much better it looks with the high-resolution texture pack installed. Monster Hunter Wilds has the potential to become one of the most successful entries in the series. Capcom has already announced a post-launch roadmap promising new monsters and additional content over time. This long-term support strategy worked incredibly well for past titles, and I'm confident it will make Wilds even more exciting in the long run. And that wraps up my review. I'll be bringing more content about Wilds in the upcoming days, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game so far, and what topics you would like me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!